She fell out of her hospital bed. Find out how I was able to learn that the hospital violated its own protocol. And had they not done that, this patient never would have fallen out of bed and fractured her shoulder. You want to learn what happened here? Come join me for a moment as I share with you some great information. Hi, I'm Gerry Oginski. I'm a New York medical malpractice and personal injury attorney practicing law in the state of New York. She was hysterical. She was emotionally distraught. An ambulance had to be called by her family. They took her to a local emergency room. And now she couldn't calm down. She was screaming. She was hysterical. The doctors there immediately gave her a sedative to try and calm her down. Within a few minutes, she was more relaxed. They left her on the table while they went out. Now, that's violation number 1. Now, how do I know that that's a violation? I know that because after we started a lawsuit, I asked the hospital for their policies for the emergency room, for patients who come in with psychiatric problems, for patients who are now sedated. What is the hospital protocol? What is the policy about what happens to a patient when they are brought in distress? The very first thing that I learned by reading the hospital policies is that when a psychiatric patient is brought in who is clearly unstable, number 1, they are to be provided with a monitor. That's like a babysitter. And why do they do that? To make sure the patient doesn't harm themselves. So you might be asking, how can they harm themselves? Well, imagine this scenario. The patient is lying on a hospital bed. She's now sedated. She's not asleep, but she's sedated. She's still emotionally distraught, but she's just a bit calmer. Now, she might get up out of bed to go to the bathroom. She might want to get up and go for a walk. Maybe if she smokes, she might want to go outside for a smoke. There are many different possibilities that can occur, but she might also intentionally try and harm herself. That's why the hospital's own protocol said the patient is to have a monitor. Did they do that in this case? Absolutely not. Why didn't they? The hospital couldn't answer my question when I asked them at pretrial testimony. Why? Why wasn't this patient given a monitor? I don't know. It's not my responsibility. The nurse is supposed to call. The psychiatrist is supposed to call. Somebody's supposed to get somebody to come in. Everybody was pointing fingers at everybody else. No one would take responsibility for the fact that not a single person did what they were supposed to do. So that's violation number 1. Number 2, now they left the patient sedated on the hospital bed. They didn't restrain her physically. They didn't tie her to the bed. That's problem number 2, where you know that a patient is emotionally distraught, and now you sedate her. If she wants to get up and go to the bathroom, don't you think there's a greater fall risk, a risk of her falling out of bed? Of course there is. Why? Because she is now has an altered mental state. Now her level of consciousness has decreased because of this injection that they gave her. That was violation number 2. Clearly says it in the hospital policies. And now I showed these hospital policies to the attorney who represented the hospital. And do you think they put their hands up and says, okay, we give up, let's settle this case? No, they didn't do that. Instead, they denied that those policies applied to this patient. And you know when they finally accepted it? When we were getting to trial. When we were given a date to appear to pick a jury. That's when they finally turned around and recognized, okay, you know what? Maybe we do have some culpability here. Some? This patient didn't do anything to fall off the bed on purpose. Had you not put her in this position, had you had a monitor there to watch her, she never would have fallen and fractured her shoulder. So why do I share this quick story with you? I share it with you just to give you one example of a patient I was able to help obtain compensation because a hospital and their staff violated the basic standards of medical care and they broke their own protocol. You know, I recognize you're watching this video because you likely have questions or concerns about your own particular matter. Well, if your matter did happen here in New York and you're thinking about bringing a lawsuit, but you have questions that need to be answered first, what I invite you to do is pick up the phone and call me. I can answer your legal questions. You know, I answer questions like yours every single day, and I'd love to chat with you. You can reach me at 516-487-8207 or by email at Gerry, Gerry, at oginski-law.com. That's it for today's video. I'm Gerry Oginski. Have a fantastic day.